Ethan Caldwell noticed numbers before faces, margins, ratios, the silent math of control. But on a cold Thursday night in downtown Chicago, inside Bellamy's, brass lamps, dark wood, expensive calm, he noticed a woman carrying a tray with careful steadiness, like she couldn't afford to spill. He was mid-sentence with two investors when she passed his table. Her hair was pinned back with a few curls escaping, and a pale blue uniform clung to her shoulders. The name tag read Maya. Ethan's lungs forgot their job. Maya Harper. Maya Harper Caldwell, once, during years he tried to bury. She moved past him without looking up, and Ethan recognized her posture, straight spine, quiet determination, the kind that kept a life from cracking. Then he saw her belly, round beneath the fabric, unmistakable. Maya paused at a nearby table, set down two bowls, and the uniform pulled tight. Ethan's mind scrambled for explanations it couldn't hold. "Mr. Caldwell?" one investor asked. "Everything okay?" Ethan blinked. "Fine," he lied. His eyes followed Maya to a service station where she refilled water. She was thinner in the face, cheekbones sharper, but her eyes, storm gray, were the same. When she lifted her gaze to scan the room, it landed on him. For one heartbeat, time narrowed. Maya's expression didn't change, but her eyes hardened like a door locking. She looked away and kept working. No pause. No surprise. Just distance. Ethan pushed back his chair. "Excuse me," he told the table, forcing calm into his voice. "I'll be right back." He walked toward the service hallway, trying to keep the CEO stride, measured, unshaken. The air thickened with garlic, steam, clatter. Maya turned as if she'd expected it and slipped into the narrow corridor beside the kitchen. "Maya," Ethan said. She set her tray down and folded her arms, keeping space between them. No ring on her finger. No necklace he'd once fastened around her throat. Only a uniform and the weight of long hours. "You shouldn't be here," she said quietly. "You have people waiting." "I didn't know," Ethan answered. "I didn't know you were here. Or that you were pregnant." Maya's mouth curved into a humorless half-smile. "Yes, that's the word." Ethan swallowed. "Is it mine?" Her eyes flashed. Hurt and anger knotted together. "Of course that's your first question." "It matters," he insisted, voice rough. "Please, tell me." Maya stared at him, then looked down at her belly, as if bracing. "No," she said. "It's not yours." Relief surged through Ethan before he could stop it, automatic and shameful. It was followed by a hollow ache. And still, the sight of her working on her feet, pregnant, made something in him twist. "Why didn't you call?" he asked. "After the divorce." "Call you?" Her voice rose, then steadied. "Ethan, you had my number. You had assistance for everything. You never called me." He opened his mouth, then closed it. He remembered the year their marriage collapsed, a company scandal, his mother's cold disapproval, pressure that turned him sharp. He remembered choosing silence because it felt easier than admitting fear. Maya's gaze didn't waver. "I'm not here to relive it," she said. "I'm here to work. So if you're done being shocked, go back to your table." Ethan's throat burned. "You're working while pregnant." "I'm surviving," she said. "That's enough." "Let me help," Ethan blurted. "Doctor. A place to stay. Money. Help." Maya repeated. "You want to help now, because you can stand in a hallway and look guilty?" "I made mistakes." "You made choices," she corrected. "And I made mine. I chose to stop waiting for you to become someone different." A timer buzzed in the kitchen. A cook shouted an order. Maya reached for her tray, but Ethan stepped in front of her, blocking the corridor. "Tell me what you need," he said, softer. "Not what you think I deserve to hear. What you need." Maya's face softened for a moment, then sealed again. "What I need," she said carefully, "is for you to let me go." The words landed like stones. Ethan remembered Sunday mornings and old records, her laughter, her dreams he'd dismissed as small because his felt enormous. He remembered the night she left, crying quietly while he stared at his laptop and pretended not to hear. "I can't," he admitted. For a moment, fear flickered behind Maya's composure, not of him, but of the life she was carrying alone. She inhaled slowly and pointed back toward the dining room. "Then start by going back," she said. "And don't make a scene." Ethan hesitated. "Will you talk to me after your shift?" Outside the hallway, someone laughed, bright and careless. Maya looked older than her years, but still stubbornly brave. "Maybe," she said at last, "if you can listen without trying to control the story." Ethan nodded. "I'll wait." "Don't," Maya warned, but her voice had lost its edge. She slipped past him and disappeared into the dining room's light. Back at his table, the investors watched him expectantly. Ethan sat down, but the menu blurred. Across the room, Maya moved like a quiet tide. Each time she passed, the past pressed against the present. For the first time in years, Ethan Caldwell realized he had no idea how to negotiate for what truly mattered, and he suspected the price would be higher than anything he'd ever paid. He tried to return to numbers, to talking points, to the clean certainty of deals. But Maya's presence rearranged the room. He watched her tuck a receipt into an apron pocket, wince when she shifted her weight, then straighten like she refused to be pitted. When a customer snapped his fingers for service, Ethan's jaw tightened. He told himself it wasn't his business. He told himself she didn't want him. Yet the memory of her saying, "Let me go," kept echoing. If he couldn't buy forgiveness, he would begin by paying attention and staying humble tonight. Bellamy's emptied slowly, the way expensive places do. No rush, only lingering perfumes and the soft clink of dessert forks. Ethan stayed in his seat long after his investors left, ignoring the polite hint from the host that the dining room would soon close. He watched Maya weave between tables, collecting checks, wiping crumbs with quick, practiced motions. Twice she glanced his way, each time pretending she hadn't. By 10:30, only a couple remained near the bar. The lights dimmed. A manager counted cash at the front stand. Maya disappeared into the back and returned with a sweater pulled over her uniform, her name tag removed like armor set aside. She paused at Ethan's table without sitting. "You're still here," she said. "I said I'd wait," Ethan replied. "My shift ended. That doesn't mean I owe you anything." "I know." Ethan kept his hands on the table, palms open at all. "Can we talk somewhere quiet? I'll keep it short." Maya hesitated, then nodded toward a side door. "The alley's quiet," she said. "Come on." Outside, February wind cut between buildings, carrying the smell of snow and exhaust. A street lamp threw pale light over stacked crates and frozen puddles. Maya leaned against the brick wall, arms folded, eyes fixed on Ethan like he might still be a problem she needed to solve. Ethan tugged his coat tighter. "I didn't come to hurt you," he began. "You didn't come at all," Maya said. It stung because it was true. Ethan exhaled slowly. "After you left, I told myself you were better off without me. That you'd rebuild fast. You always did." Maya's laugh was small and bitter. "You made a story that let you sleep." "I did," Ethan admitted. "And I'm sorry." Silence widened. Maya rubbed her belly absent-mindedly, then stopped as if catching herself. Ethan followed the motion, and the question he'd asked in the hallway returned. "You said the baby isn't mine," he said carefully. "Is that the truth?" Maya's eyes narrowed. "Why?" "So you can decide how much compassion to offer." "So I can understand what you've been carrying," Ethan answered. "All of it." Maya stared at the concrete. "It's complicated," she said at last. Ethan waited. Maya's voice dropped. "I left Chicago after the divorce. Milwaukee first, then Indianapolis. I took whatever work I could, front desk, temp jobs, catering. I applied to grad programs. I got rejected. I applied again. She swallowed. I was doing okay until last summer. My mom got sick. Cancer. I went back to Ohio to help. Bills came fast. I burned through savings. Ethan's chest tightened. Why didn't you tell me? Maya's stare snapped up. Tell the man who said my drama was bad for his brand? That man. Ethan flinched. He remembered saying it when a reporter asked about their separation. He'd hated the question and punished Maya for being the easiest target. I was cruel, he whispered. You were strategic, Maya corrected. Cruel was just the method. Maya kept going, words spilling like she'd held them too long. When Mom died in September, I came back to Chicago because the only people I trusted were here. I needed a restart. And then I found out I was pregnant. Ethan's breath caught. Maya. She lifted a hand. Don't make it sound like tragedy music. I'm not, Ethan said. I'm trying to picture you alone through all that. Maya's eyes shone but didn't spill. I wasn't alone, she said. I had me. That's what you learn when people who promised forever decide you're inconvenient. Ethan leaned his shoulder against the opposite wall. Who's the father? He asked. Maya's jaw tightened. A guy I dated briefly. He left when he heard. I'm not chasing him. Ethan nodded, though doubt tugged at him. The timing, her guarded tone, it didn't add up, yet he knew he wasn't owed the math. Are you safe? He asked. Do you have a place? A room, Maya replied. On the south side. It's fine. It shouldn't have to be just fine, Ethan said. Maya's eyes flashed. There it is. The rescue speech. I'm not trying to rescue you, Ethan insisted. I'm trying to make amends. Amends don't come with conditions, Maya said. You can't buy your way into being decent. I know. Ethan swallowed. So tell me a way that doesn't insult you. Maya studied him. When she spoke, her tone was quieter. Start by not taking over. Start by seeing me as a person again, not a headline. I can do that, Ethan said. Can you? Maya asked. Because you're still the man who thinks the world moves when he points. Ethan looked down at his polished shoes in the dirty alley. Then I'll learn to stop pointing. Maya shook her head, as if that promise was too neat. I don't hate you, she admitted. That's the problem. If I hated you, this would be easy. But I remember good things. And then I remember how fast you let them die. Ethan felt his throat tighten. I remember, he said. Every day. Maya pushed off the wall. I'm going home, she said. I have an early shift tomorrow. Ethan stepped forward, then stopped himself. Let me at least drive you. No, then, after a beat, walk me to the train. That's all. They moved down the sidewalk together, the city bright and indifferent around them. At the station entrance, Maya paused on the steps. If you show up at my job again, she said, don't do it to ease your guilt. I won't, Ethan promised. Maya's gaze softened, almost familiar. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Maya. She descended into the subway, disappearing into the roar of arriving steel. Ethan stood above ground, hands in his pockets, watching the stairwell as if it might return her. For years he'd believed he could fix anything with enough force. Tonight he understood force was useless without humility, and he didn't know if Maya would ever believe he meant it. Snow fell in soft, drifting sheets the next morning, coating Chicago in quiet. Ethan stood in the lobby of Caldwell Industries staring at the glass doors, replaying the alley conversation again and again. Maya's tired eyes. Her strength. The way she said she wasn't alone, yet carried everything alone. For the first time in years, he skipped the executive elevator and walked outside instead. He didn't know where he was going at first. He just knew he couldn't sit behind polished desks pretending life was spreadsheets while Maya stood on aching feet serving dinners. By noon, he found himself at a small prenatal clinic on the south side. It wasn't luxury. It was clean, warm, and crowded. Ethan hesitated, then stepped inside. A receptionist looked up. Appointment? No, Ethan said. I'm here for Maya Harper. The woman frowned. Family. Yes, Ethan answered softly. I'm her ex-husband. After a pause, the receptionist gestured toward the waiting area. She's in exam room 3. Ethan's heart thudded as he walked the narrow hallway. When he reached the door, he raised his hand to knock, then froze. Voices floated out. A nurse said gently, "Your blood pressure is high again. Stress can do that, especially when you're carrying alone." Maya sighed. "I don't have a choice." "You do have support," the nurse replied kindly. "Even if it's not from the father." A pause. Then Maya whispered, "The father doesn't know." Ethan's breath caught. The nurse lowered her voice. "You haven't told him yet?" "No," Maya said. "I will when I'm stronger." The room fell quiet except for the faint rhythmic beat of a heartbeat on a monitor. Ethan pressed his hand to the wall. The baby's heartbeat. Strong. Fast. Alive. And suddenly everything in Ethan's chest aligned into painful clarity. The timing. Her guarded answers. The way she rubbed her belly when he mentioned the baby being his. It wasn't another man. It was his. The door creaked slightly as Ethan shifted. "Maya!" the nurse called. Ethan stepped inside before he could lose courage. Maya's eyes widened in shock. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" The nurse looked between them. "Is everything okay?" "Yes," Ethan said quickly. "Could you give us a moment?" The nurse hesitated, then nodded and slipped out. Silence filled the room. The monitor still tapped out the baby's heartbeat like a tiny drum of truth. Maya stared at Ethan, fear flickering across her face. "You weren't supposed to hear that." "You lied to me," Ethan said quietly. Not angry, broken. Maya's shoulders sagged. "I was trying to protect myself." "From what?" he asked. "From hoping," she whispered. "From you leaving again." Ethan took a step closer. "The baby is mine." Tears spilled instantly. "Yes." The word landed heavy and sacred. "You were pregnant when you left," Ethan said, pieces sliding into place. "The timing." "I didn't know yet," Maya cried. "I found out weeks later, after everything collapsed. I tried calling you, Ethan. Your assistant said you were unavailable. Every time." Ethan's chest burned. "I never got those messages." "I stopped trying," she said softly. "I thought you didn't want me. Or us." Ethan knelt beside her chair, eyes shining. "Maya, I would have come." "You didn't," she whispered. He nodded, pain carved into his face. "And that's on me." The heartbeat thumped between them, living proof of everything lost and still possible. "I didn't tell you last night because I was scared," Maya admitted. "Scared you'd offer money and walk away. Scared you'd fight me for control. Scared you'd disappear again." "I won't," Ethan said fiercely. Maya searched his face. "You don't know that." "I do," he said. "Because hearing that heartbeat just changed my life." Tears slid down Maya's cheeks. "You always say big things when emotions are high." "And I usually follow them with actions," Ethan said. "I failed you once. I won't fail our child." "Our," Maya repeated quietly. "Yes," Ethan said. "Ours." Silence stretched, softer now. "I wasn't trying to trap you," Maya said quickly. "I never wanted that." "I know," Ethan replied. "You were trying to survive." Maya nodded, wiping her face. "I didn't want pity." "You won't get pity," Ethan said. "You'll get partnership, if you'll let me earn it." The nurse knocked lightly and peeked in. "Everything okay?" "Yes," Maya said shakily. "He's the father." The nurse smiled warmly. "Then congratulations." After she left, Ethan let out a breath that sounded like relief and fear mixed together. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" he asked gently. "Because when you left," Maya said, "you made me feel disposable. I didn't want my child to ever feel that." Ethan closed his eyes. "I swear to you, this baby will never wonder if I care." Maya hesitated. "Words are easy." "Then judge me by what I do next," Ethan said. She studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Okay." Ethan smiled through tears. Okay. Okay, she repeated. But no rushing. No controlling. Deal. Ethan placed his hand gently near her belly, not touching, asking permission with his eyes. Maya nodded. When his palm met the warm curve, emotion crashed through him. I'm your dad, he whispered. The heartbeat kept steady, strong, like approval. And in that small clinic room, everything shifted, not back to what was broken, but forward into something fragile, terrifying, and full of hope. For the first time since their divorce, Ethan wasn't thinking about fixing a mistake. He was thinking about becoming someone worthy of what he almost lost. The city looked different after the clinic. Ethan noticed things he used to blur past: the cracked sidewalks, the crowded buses, the tired faces that moved with quiet determination. He walked beside Maya toward the train, slower this time, matching her pace instead of leading. Neither spoke at first. The truth was too big, too new. You didn't have to come today, Maya finally said. I needed to, Ethan replied. Not as a CEO. As a father. The word still felt unreal on his tongue. Maya nodded but didn't smile. Being a father isn't a feeling. It's consistency. I know, Ethan said. And I'm starting now. They stopped at the station entrance. I'll take the train, Maya said. You don't need to chauffeur me. I'm not offering because of money, Ethan said gently. I'm offering because it's snowing and you're pregnant. She hesitated, then sighed. Fine. But just today. The ride was quiet but not tense. Ethan watched the city slide by while Maya stared out the window. Where are you staying? He asked softly. A room in a shared apartment, Maya said. 2 other women. It's clean. Is it safe? Yes. Comfortable. She didn't answer right away. That told him everything. They arrived at a narrow brick building near a busy intersection. Maya unlocked the door and paused. You're not coming up, she said. I won't, Ethan said quickly. I just wanted to make sure you got here okay. She studied him. Thank you. Ethan nodded. I'll call you tonight. Maya lifted an eyebrow. You have my number now? I made sure. A tiny smile tugged at her lips before she caught it. Upstairs, Maya disappeared. Ethan stood on the sidewalk long after, heart pounding. This wasn't about dramatic gestures. It was about showing up. The next morning, Ethan walked into Caldwell Industries early. But instead of heading straight to his glass office, he went to Human Resources. The HR director blinked in surprise. Mr. Caldwell, I need you to review wages, Ethan said. Specifically restaurant workers in our partner businesses. Is something wrong? Everything is, Ethan said. And it's about to change. By noon, memos were flying. Minimum wages raised. Health benefits extended. Maternity coverage added across partnered restaurants, including Bellamy's. Executives whispered. Investors frowned. Ethan didn't care. For once, profits came second. That evening, Maya was wiping down tables when her manager rushed toward her. Maya, did you hear? Hear what? She asked nervously. Corporate just upgraded benefits. Pregnant workers get paid medical leave. And wages just went up. Maya froze. What? Starting immediately, the manager said. This is huge. Maya's heart raced. She knew. Only one person could have made that happen overnight. Later, outside, Ethan waited near the curb. You did this, Maya said as soon as she saw him. Yes, Ethan answered. You promised not to control, she said sharply. I didn't touch your job, Ethan said calmly. I changed a system that was hurting people, including you. That's still power. It's responsibility, Ethan replied. And I'll accept if you don't like it. But I won't apologize for making life safer for our child. Maya's anger wavered. You could have talked to me first. You're right, Ethan said. I should have. Silence stretched. Finally Maya sighed. It does help. Not just me. That was the point. She studied him. This can't be how you prove love, fixing everything with money. It's not, Ethan said. It's just the first brick. Maya nodded slowly. Okay. A pause. Doctor says stress is bad, Ethan added gently. Let me take care of things where I can. Not everything, she warned. Not everything, he agreed. But the real test came 3 days later. Bellamy's was crowded. Ethan sat quietly at a corner table, not as a boss, just a customer. A man at another table snapped his fingers sharply. Waitress. No. Maya flinched slightly but walked over politely. Yes, sir. You spilled water earlier, the man barked. I want my meal comped. I'm sorry, Maya said calmly. I can bring you fresh napkins. I want it free, the man shouted. Or I'll complain to corporate. Ethan stood. Every instinct screamed to dominate. But he remembered Maya's words, don't control. So he walked slowly, calmly. Sir, Ethan said quietly. She offered to fix it. That's good service. And who are you? Just someone who respects people, Ethan replied. The man scoffed. Mind your business. Ethan leaned closer, voice steady. It becomes my business when you bully someone who's working. The room went silent. The man muttered and waved dismissively. Whatever. Maya stood frozen. Afterward, in the service hallway, her eyes shone. You didn't threaten, she said. I wanted to, Ethan admitted. But you didn't, she whispered. That's me changing, Ethan said. Maya swallowed. Thank you. For the first time, her walls lowered just a little. And Ethan realized. This wasn't about grand rescue. It was about small, steady protection. And the hardest part of redemption wasn't fixing the past. It was proving, day by day, that he deserved a place in their future. The news didn't stay quiet. When Caldwell Industries raised wages across partner restaurants and added maternity benefits, business blogs picked it up first. Then local news stations. Then national headlines. CEO softens corporate policies after personal wake-up call, one article read. Another was harsher. Is Caldwell buying redemption? Ethan watched the screen in his office as talking heads debated his motives. Some praised him. Others accused him of emotional decision-making. Stock prices dipped slightly. The board requested an emergency meeting. And right on time, his mother called. Margaret Caldwell never asked. She summoned. Come home for dinner tonight, she said sharply. We need to discuss the mess you're making. Ethan closed his eyes briefly. It's not a mess. It's a scandal, she snapped. 7 o'clock. The line went dead. Margaret's mansion sat in the quiet wealth of Lake Forest, its gates taller than most people's homes. The kind of place Maya had always felt too small to breathe in. Ethan arrived exactly at 7. His mother sat at the long dining table, posture perfect, pearls glowing. I assume this is about the wage reforms, Ethan said calmly. Margaret lifted her eyes. It's about the waitress. Ethan stiffened. So it is personal, she said coolly. You're throwing away discipline over a woman who couldn't keep up with our world. She's the mother of my child, Ethan said firmly. Margaret froze. What did you say? Maya is pregnant, Ethan repeated. With my baby. The silence sharpened. Margaret's lips thinned. Impossible. It's fact. You're being manipulated, she said immediately. That girl always knew how to cry at the right time. Ethan stood. Don't talk about her like that. Margaret rose too. You divorced her for a reason. She was a distraction. Now she's using pregnancy to climb back. That's a lie, Ethan snapped. She hid it from me. Margaret stared. Why would she hide something that valuable? Because she has dignity, Ethan wanted to shout. Instead he said calmly, because I broke her trust. Margaret scoffed. You're risking your empire. I'm protecting my family. Margaret's voice turned icy. Your family is this company. No, Ethan said quietly. That was my mistake. Margaret's eyes flashed. If you continue this nonsense, the board will turn on you. Then they will, Ethan said. She stared in disbelief. You would choose her over everything I built for you? Ethan met her gaze. I'm choosing what you never taught me, how to love without control. Margaret's jaw tightened. That girl will ruin you. Ethan walked away without another word. Meanwhile, Maya felt the storm from the other side. Customers recognized her. Whispers followed her between tables. That's the CEO's ex, someone murmured. Pregnant too. Probably planned it. A woman at the bar laughed loudly. Funny how waitresses always end up pregnant by rich men. Maya's hands shook as she refilled water glasses. Old shame crawled back. That evening, her manager pulled her aside nervously. Maya, corporate says you're protected, he said, but some customers are complaining. Attention isn't always good for business. Maya nodded stiffly. I understand. She understood perfectly. She was becoming a problem. Later, Ethan found her sitting alone at a bus stop, coat wrapped tight, eyes distant. They're talking about you, Maya said without looking at him. I know, Ethan replied gently. They think I trapped you, she whispered. That's not true. But it's loud, she said. Louder than truth. Ethan sat beside her. I won't let them hurt you. You can't control public opinion, Maya said bitterly. You're learning that. I can stand beside you. That makes it worse sometimes, she admitted. Ethan's chest tightened. Are you asking me to walk away? Maya shook her head slowly. I'm asking you to understand how heavy this is. Silence passed. I didn't want your world crashing into mine, she whispered. I just wanted peace. I know, Ethan said. But the world doesn't change quietly. Maya turned to him. Is this worth losing your company? Ethan didn't hesitate. Yes. Her eyes filled. That's a big promise. I lost you once because I was afraid to lose control, he said. I won't lose you again because I'm afraid of noise. Maya studied his face, searching for the old arrogance. She didn't find it. Okay, she whispered. But I won't be your secret or your scandal. You'll be my family, Ethan said. But across town, Margaret Caldwell wasn't finished. She sat with two board members in a private lounge. This situation is dangerous, she said coolly. If Ethan won't make hard choices, the company will. One executive hesitated. You're suggesting removal? I'm suggesting protection of the brand, Margaret replied. And the woman? Margaret's smile was cold. She'll leave once the pressure is high enough. As snow began to fall again that night, Maya rested a hand on her belly, uneasy without knowing why. And Ethan, staring at the city skyline from his office, felt the same weight. Neither knew the storm had only begun. The pressure didn't come like a wave. It came like steady rain. Every day something new. A tabloid photo of Ethan leaving Bellamy's. A headline questioning his leadership. A rumor that Maya had demanded a luxury apartment. None of it was true. All of it spread fast. Maya felt eyes on her everywhere now. On the train, in the restaurant, even in the grocery store. Some curious. Some cruel. One afternoon, a woman bumped into her deliberately. Careful, the woman sneered. Don't want you faking a fall for another payday. Maya froze. I'm not. Save it, the woman snapped. Gold diggers always save it. Maya rushed to the bathroom and cried silently in a stall. That night, she didn't answer Ethan's calls. Meanwhile, Ethan was blindsided in a boardroom. Charts glowed on screens. A senior executive cleared his throat. Public trust is declining. It will stabilize, Ethan said firmly. The company lost 6% this week, another added. Ethan's jaw tightened. Temporary. Margaret Caldwell spoke smoothly from the end of the table. Temporary scandals have permanent consequences. This isn't a scandal, Ethan said. It is when the public believes your ex-wife manipulated you, Margaret replied. Ethan slammed his palm on the table. Enough. Silence. We need decisive action, Margaret continued calmly. Distance yourself from her. Publicly. Ethan stared at her. You want me to abandon the mother of my child. I want you to protect your empire, she corrected. I choose my family. Several board members exchanged looks. One spoke carefully. "If you don't step back, we may be forced to vote on leadership." Ethan's chest tightened. "Are you threatening me?" "We're warning you," the man replied. Ethan stood slowly. "Then prepare to lose me." The same evening, Maya was called into the manager's office. His face was tight. "Maya, corporate received complaints again." "I didn't do anything," she said quickly. "I know," he sighed. "But they're saying customers feel uncomfortable with the attention." "So I'm bad for business." "Not my words," he said softly. "But they want to transfer you to a smaller location. Less visibility." Maya's heart sank. "Or," he added, "you could take early unpaid leave." Maya laughed weakly. "Unpaid? While pregnant?" He didn't meet her eyes. Maya understood. They were pushing her out. That night, she finally answered Ethan's call. "Maybe your mother is right," Maya said quietly. Ethan stiffened. "What happened?" "They're moving me," she whispered. "Or pushing me away." Ethan's voice hardened. "This is because of me." "This is because of us," Maya corrected. Silence filled the line. "I can't live like this," she said softly. "I don't want our child growing up in fights and headlines." "I'll fix it," Ethan said fiercely. "You can't fix everything," Maya replied. "And you shouldn't have to burn your life down for me." "I would," Ethan said without hesitation. "That scares me," she whispered. Ethan's chest tightened. "What are you saying?" "I think we need space," Maya said, voice shaking. "At least for now." The words hit like a blow. "Space," Ethan repeated. "Until things calm down." "Maya." "I love you," she said quickly. "But loving you is hurting me." The call ended. Ethan stared at his phone in shock. 2 days later, he woke to news alerts. Caldwell CEO faces removal vote. Board questions Ethan Caldwell's stability. And a smaller headline below. Ex-wife declines comment. Ethan knew. They were using Maya against him. He drove to her apartment immediately. She opened the door looking tired, eyes swollen. "They're turning the company against you," she said before he spoke. "They're turning you against me," Ethan replied softly. Maya looked away. "Maybe it's better." "Better for who?" Ethan asked. "For you," she whispered. "You built that world. I don't belong in it." "You belong with me," Ethan said. Maya shook her head. "You can't choose me over everything." "I already have," Ethan said. Tears fell freely now. "And what happens when you lose it all?" "Then I start over," Ethan said calmly. "Like you did." Maya stared at him. "You don't understand how hard that is." "I do now," Ethan said. "Because I watched you do it alone." Silence wrapped around them. "Maya," he said gently, "they're trying to scare you away because they can't control me anymore." "And it's working," she whispered. He stepped closer but didn't touch her. "Running won't protect our child," Ethan said softly. "Standing will." Maya pressed her hand to her belly. Fear warred with hope in her eyes. "I'm tired, Ethan." "I know," he whispered. "But don't give up on us." Long seconds passed. Finally Maya whispered, "I don't know if I'm strong enough." Ethan's voice broke. "Then lean on me this time." She closed her eyes as tears fell. And for the first time, she didn't push him away. But outside the apartment, unseen, a black sedan sat parked. Inside, Margaret Caldwell watched the building. And made one final decision. The betrayal didn't come loudly. It came neatly. At 9 a.m. on a Monday, Ethan walked into what he believed was another strategy meeting. By 9:15, he was no longer CEO. The boardroom was cold with formality. Votes were read. Legal language rolled smoothly. Temporary removal. Public interest protection. Margaret Caldwell didn't look at him once. Ethan sat frozen. "You can't do this," he said finally. A senior board member sighed. "Ethan, we're doing this for the company." "You're doing it because my mother told you to," Ethan snapped. Silence answered. "You're making a mistake," Ethan said. Margaret stood slowly. "No, Ethan." I'm correcting one. Security appeared at the door. Not to escort him out, just to make a point. Ethan rose with dignity, heart pounding. You took everything from me, he said to Margaret. She finally met his eyes. I saved you from ruining your life. Ethan shook his head. You destroyed it. He walked out. By noon the story exploded. Caldwell Air removed amid personal scandal. Board says CEO compromised by emotional decisions. Photos of Maya were everywhere again. This time harsher. Crueler. The comments were worse. She played him. Classic trap. Now he's paying for it. Maya stared at her phone in horror. This is my fault, she whispered. Her roommate tried to comfort her. People are horrible. They're right, Maya cried. I ruined his life. Ethan went straight to Maya. She opened the door shaking. They removed you, she sobbed. Yes, Ethan said calmly. Her face crumpled. Oh God, I did this. No, Ethan said firmly. My mother did. Maya backed away. You lost everything because of me. I lost a title, Ethan corrected. Not everything. But you'll never get it back, she cried. Maybe not, Ethan said gently. But I have you. That's not enough. Maya shouted suddenly. It should be, but it isn't fair. Silence fell. I never wanted to be the reason you fell, she whispered. You're the reason I finally stood, Ethan replied. Maya shook her head wildly. You don't understand the guilt. I do, Ethan said. But I'd rather lose power than lose you again. Maya pressed her hands to her face. Everywhere I go people hate me, she sobbed. Now they hate you too. They always hated whoever they could blame, Ethan said softly. Maya looked at him with fear. What if they never stop? Then we keep living anyway, he said. She cried harder. I'm scared, she whispered. For the baby. For you. Ethan stepped closer. I'm scared too. Silence stretched. And then Maya whispered the words Ethan feared. Maybe it would have been better if we never found each other again. His heart cracked. You don't mean that. I do, she cried. You had everything before me. And nothing that mattered, Ethan said gently. But you were safe, she said. Now you're broken because of me. Ethan took her hands. Maya, look at me. She met his eyes through tears. I am freer now than I've ever been, he said quietly. I just didn't realize I was in a cage. Maya shook her head. This is too much. I can handle it, Ethan said. With you. But I can't, she whispered. Silence fell like snow. Maya slowly pulled her hands away. I think you should go, she said. Ethan froze. Maya. I need to protect our child, she said, voice trembling. And right now, being near you feels dangerous. That's not true, he said. It feels true, she whispered. Tears slid down her cheeks. I love you, she said. But love shouldn't destroy lives. Ethan's chest tightened painfully. So you're leaving? I'm choosing peace, she whispered. Peace without me? She didn't answer. That was enough. Ethan nodded slowly, swallowing heartbreak. If this is what you need, he said softly, I'll respect it. Maya covered her mouth as she cried. Ethan stepped back toward the door. Ethan, she whispered. He turned. No matter what happens, she said, thank you for loving us. His voice broke. I always will. The door closed between them. That night, Ethan sat alone in his empty penthouse, lights off, city glowing outside. He had no company, no power, no family beside him, only silence. And across town, Maya lay awake holding her belly, whispering apologies to the child growing inside her. Both believed they were protecting each other. Neither knew the truth was about to come out. And it would change everything. The silence after Ethan left felt heavier than noise ever had. Maya sat on her bed, one hand resting on her stomach, the other clutching her phone. Messages kept pouring in, unknown numbers, cruel words, strangers who felt entitled to her pain. She turned the phone face down. "Mommy's trying to protect you," she whispered to her belly. "Even if it hurts." But deep down, something felt wrong. Because peace built on running didn't feel like peace. Across the city, Margaret Caldwell moved with satisfaction. The board had done its job. Ethan was out. The company stabilized. Now only one loose thread remained. Maya. Margaret invited her to tea. The message arrived through a lawyer's assistant. Maya almost ignored it. But curiosity and fear won. Margaret's mansion looked colder than ever. Maya sat stiffly on the edge of an expensive chair while Margaret poured tea with perfect grace. "You've caused quite a storm," Margaret said calmly. "I didn't ask for any of this," Maya replied quietly. Margaret smiled thinly. "No one ever does when ambition fails." Maya's eyes flashed. "I'm not ambitious." "Of course you are," Margaret said. "You married into power once. Now you tried again." "That's not true," Maya said shakily. Margaret slid an envelope across the table. Inside were bank statements, photos, edited headlines. "All the proof people need," Margaret said smoothly, "to believe you planned everything." Maya's hands trembled. "These are lies." "Perception is stronger than truth," Margaret replied. Maya's voice cracked. "Why are you doing this?" Margaret leaned forward. "Because Ethan is weak when it comes to you." Maya stared in disbelief. "You ruined your own son." "I saved him," Margaret corrected. "You destroyed him," Maya whispered. Margaret's eyes hardened. "He chose you over his future." "And you chose control over love," Maya shot back. Silence tightened. Then Margaret said coolly, "Here's what will happen. You will leave Chicago quietly. Take a settlement. Raise your child far from Ethan." "I won't," Maya said. Margaret's smile vanished. "If you stay," she said softly, "I will make your life unbearable." Maya stood shaking. "You already have." Margaret's voice turned icy. "You think you're strong? You're a waitress with no safety net." "I'm a mother," Maya said fiercely. "And that makes me stronger than you." Margaret laughed quietly. "Strength doesn't win against power." Maya walked out trembling but determined. That evening, something unexpected happened. A former Caldwell Industries accountant released documents anonymously to a journalist. Emails, meeting transcripts, proof of manipulation. Margaret's pressure on the board. False complaint campaigns. Fabricated scandals. The headline exploded across the internet. Caldwell heir set up by own mother. Corporate coup exposed. Screens everywhere lit up. Public outrage roared. Board members issued emergency statements. Stock prices plunged again, this time from betrayal. Ethan read the article in shock. "They framed me," he whispered. His phone rang endlessly. Executives apologizing. Journalists begging for comment. Friends who vanished suddenly remembered his name. But Ethan wasn't listening. He was already in his car. Maya was on the train home when notifications flooded in. She opened one. Then another. Her breath caught. "They lied," she whispered. Tears blurred her vision. Strangers who had insulted her hours earlier were now defending her online. Calling Margaret a monster. Calling Ethan a victim. Calling Maya brave. For the first time in weeks, the world shifted. Ethan reached Maya's apartment breathless and knocked hard. She opened the door already crying. "You saw it?" he asked. "Yes," she sobbed. "They exposed everything," Ethan said. "My mother did this. All of it." "I know," Maya whispered. Ethan's voice shook. "You were right to protect our child. I just wish you hadn't pushed me away." Maya stepped closer. "I thought I was saving you." "You were," he said softly. "Just not the way you thought." They stood inches apart, hearts racing. "I'm sorry," Maya cried, "for not trusting you." "I'm sorry for giving them power over us," Ethan replied. Tears fell freely. "We can fix this now," Ethan said gently. Maya nodded. Together. But even as truth spread, the damage lingered. Margaret was under investigation. The board scrambled to undo their decision. Yet one thing remained uncertain. Would Ethan take his company back? Or walk away forever? And could Maya trust that peace wouldn't vanish again? The storm had broken. But the rebuilding was just beginning. Chicago woke up to chaos. News vans crowded outside Caldwell Industries. Protesters held signs calling for justice. Reporters shouted questions as board members slipped through side doors. Inside, the company was unraveling. Margaret Caldwell had resigned overnight. 2 executives were suspended. An emergency vote was scheduled to reinstate Ethan. The empire was ready to hand him back his throne. Ethan stood in Maya's small apartment holding a cup of cheap coffee he hadn't touched. "They want me back today," he said quietly. Maya looked up slowly. "Just like that?" "Yes." Public apology. Full control restored. Silence filled the room. "That was fast," Maya said. "Power protects itself," Ethan replied. Maya studied him. "Do you want it?" The question surprised him. "I thought I did," Ethan said slowly. "My whole life I worked for it." "And now?" Maya asked. Ethan looked around the tiny apartment, the worn couch, the soft baby clothes folded neatly, the simple life Maya had built alone. "Now I'm not sure," he said. Maya's heart pounded. "You shouldn't give up your dreams because of me." "I'm not," Ethan said gently. "I'm redefining them." Maya swallowed. "What if going back puts us right back in danger?" "That's what I'm afraid of," Ethan admitted. Silence stretched. "Sometimes," Maya said softly, "walking away is stronger than winning." Ethan nodded. "I learned that from you." At the hospital later that day, Ethan joined Maya for another prenatal checkup. The baby kicked for the first time. Maya gasped. "Did you feel that?" Ethan's eyes filled. "Yeah. Life. Real and unstoppable." In that moment, boardrooms felt small. Outside the clinic, reporters spotted them. Cameras flashed. "Mr. Caldwell, are you returning as CEO? Is Maya Harper receiving compensation? Was this a publicity stunt?" Ethan raised a hand calmly. "This isn't about business," he said firmly. "This is about family." He guided Maya past the chaos. For the first time, he didn't flinch from noise. That afternoon, Ethan met the board. Faces were pale. "We made a mistake," the chairman said. "We'd like you reinstated immediately." Ethan looked around the polished room that once ruled his life. "I won't be returning as CEO," he said calmly. Shock rippled across the table. "You're walking away from billions," one man said. "Yes," Ethan replied. "Why?" another demanded. "Because I finally understand what leadership costs," Ethan said. "And I won't pay with my family." Silence crushed the room. "We will publicly clear Maya Harper's name," Ethan added. "And you will reform governance so no one can be removed by manipulation again." The board nodded desperately. "Then I'll remain as a shareholder," Ethan said. "But not your puppet." They agreed instantly. Outside, Ethan felt lighter than he had in years. "You really did it," Maya whispered. "I chose us," he said. Tears filled her eyes. "You gave up everything." "No," Ethan smiled softly. "I gained everything." Public reaction shifted again. Headlines now read, "Former CEO chooses family over empire." "Ethan Caldwell walks away with dignity." People praised his courage. Maya was no longer a villain. She was the woman who changed a man's life. That night, they sat together on the couch. "I'm scared," Maya admitted. "Me too," Ethan said. "But I'm also excited." "About what?" "About normal life," he said with a small laugh. "Groceries. School runs. Bedtime stories." Maya smiled through tears. "You'll be terrible at first." "I probably will," he admitted. "But I'll learn." Silence wrapped them comfortably. "You don't regret it?" Maya asked softly. "Not for a second." She leaned into him carefully. For the first time, peace didn't feel fragile. It felt real. But one final chapter remained. Because happiness earned through pain always comes with a moment of reckoning. And theirs was coming soon. Spring arrived quietly, like forgiveness. The snow melted from Chicago's streets, trees softened into green, and sunlight filled the small apartment where Maya now laughed more than she cried. Ethan had traded suits for simple jackets, boardrooms for grocery aisles, power lunches for doctor visits. And for the first time in his life, he felt rich. The labor started at 2 in the morning. Maya shook Ethan awake, pain gripping her face. "It's time," she whispered. Ethan jumped up so fast he knocked over a chair. "Hospital," he said breathlessly. "Right now." The drive felt endless. Maya gripped his hand, breathing hard. "You're doing amazing," Ethan whispered. "You better not faint," she snapped weakly. Despite the pain, they laughed. Hours blurred into effort and emotion. Doctors moved quickly. Nurses encouraged gently. Ethan never left Maya's side. "You're the strongest person I know," he whispered. Tears ran down her face as contractions surged. "I'm scared." "I'm here," Ethan said firmly. "Always." And then, a cry. Sharp. Alive. Perfect. The room filled with sound and light and tears. "It's a girl," the doctor said with a smile. Maya sobbed openly. Ethan's knees nearly buckled. They placed the tiny baby in Maya's arms. "She's beautiful," Maya whispered. Ethan touched her tiny fingers, shaking. "She's everything," he said. Later, when the room was quiet, Ethan held his daughter carefully. "She has your eyes," he said softly. "And your stubborn chin," Maya smiled weakly. They named her Lily. Because life had grown where pain once lived. News spread fast. But this time, headlines were gentle. Former CEO welcomes daughter, chooses private life. No scandal. No drama. Just joy. Weeks passed. Ethan started a foundation supporting working mothers. Not with press conferences. With quiet action. Maya returned to school part-time. Dreams she once postponed came back to life. Evenings were filled with lullabies and laughter. Simple. Perfect. One evening, Ethan stood by the window holding Lily. "I used to think success was owning everything," he said softly. Maya wrapped an arm around him. "And now I know it's protecting what matters." She smiled. "I'm proud of you." "I'm proud of you," he replied. "You never broke." "I almost did," she whispered. "But you didn't." Months later, Ethan received a final letter. Margaret Caldwell had been charged. The company publicly reformed. Justice had arrived. Ethan folded the letter calmly. "Do you feel relief?" Maya asked. "Yes," he said. "But I don't feel revenge." "Good," she said. "We've moved on." That night, they sat on the couch watching Lily sleep. "She saved us," Maya whispered. Ethan shook his head gently. "No. We saved each other." Silence wrapped them warmly. And for the first time in their story, nothing was breaking. Nothing was running. Nothing was being proven. There was only love. The kind that shows up. The kind that stays. The kind that chooses people over power. If this story touched your heart, inspired you, or made you feel something real, don't leave without becoming part of our family. We share powerful life-changing stories of love, sacrifice, redemption, and hope. Stories that remind us that no matter how broken life feels, there's always a new beginning. New emotional stories every week, stories that heal, inspire, and uplift, moments that stay with you forever. Tap the subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could change your day or your life. Thank you for watching. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter.